Hello and welcome to your meditation practice. Before we get started, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why it's so damn hard for most people to well, maybe not to start a meditation practice, but to keep one going. So we might have discovered or we might have read enough to have us believe that this would be a really good thing for us to do. We might even have had some beautiful experiences or a period where we were on retreat, or maybe we took a course, something like this, and we were able to uphold the practice and we noticed the difference in our life, but yet we cannot seem to make it happen. So meditating should be the easiest thing. Don't need any equipment. Well, a meditation cushion could be a good thing to have, but you could, sit on a bunch of regular pillows. You could even meditate on a chair. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need a huge amount of space. A teacher is a good thing, at least to get started. But I think that you could learn quite a good bit, even if you didn't have a teacher, maybe through reading or through YouTube, etc., etc. So, but why is it so hard then to stick with the practice? I think it has to do with partially with the instructions that we might have gathered, that to meditate is to have a mind that's clear, that's free of thoughts. And then we sit down and we try to focus on our breath or something else, but our mind is so busy that we can barely stay with our anchor for a few seconds at a time. And we try again and again, and it gets frustrating, and then our body hurts and we get restless, and we come face to face with all the stuff that we have been too busy, or maybe even making ourselves too busy to actually deal with. So at the ultimate level, when we've been going down this path far enough, we kind of start to recognize that all that stuff that goes on in the mind, it's not our fault, and maybe it's not even our problem. It's good to be aware of it so that it doesn't control us, but it's not our fault. The thoughts sort of think themselves. They show up in our mind. Of course, there are reasons why they're there, but they're not really our fault. It's not like we can stop them or push them away, but we can sort of start to connect, even maybe before we're that far on the path, to that space that exists outside the realm of thoughts. We can touch in on it and recognize a tremendous amount of freedom there, and maybe then the thoughts become like a radio that's on in another room, not so troubling. So let's find a comfortable seated position, however that is for you, on a cushion on the floor, on a chair, cross-legged or kneeling, but sit up so that you can be upright but not uptight. So if we're slouching, it's going to be very hard for the breath to flow easily, and when the breath doesn't flow easily, chances are our nervous system is not particularly balanced. So get a nice forward tilt in your pelvis and draw your shoulders back so that you're opening across your heart. And then I invite you to close your eyes, but you could also keep them open if you prefer. Rest your hands, palms face up or down. And before we really sink into it, just move your body a little bit in a way that feels good. So it could be just small movements, kind of moving the hips, kind of rocking side to side, maybe stretching the face a little bit, maybe rolling the shoulders, maybe wiggling toes, fingers, maybe making some circles with the hips or with the wrists. And as you're making these movements, maybe you can recognize that it feels really, really nice to move the body. And then let's make the movement smaller and smaller until they're barely there. Almost like just this internal movement. And then we can start to feel the breath, which is always there as an internal movement. When you're breathing in, there's an expansiveness happening. And when you're breathing out, there's a contraction or a letting go. When you're breathing in, maybe you feel like you're being pulled upwards gently. And when you're breathing out, perhaps you're becoming more aware of the ground. You can let the breath be the way it is. But if you want, you can also take a few slightly longer, fuller breaths if that feels like the nice thing to do. And so we all have busy lives, we have lots of things on our agendas, lots of things on our to-do lists. We probably have many unanswered emails and text messages. We have worries, we have heartaches going on in our life, we have things that we did that we regret. Or we of course also have really nice memories that maybe sometimes we like to revisit. So all of that will still be there once you finish this meditation. So see if you can set all of that aside now and come to your more immediate experience. So how does it feel like in your body to sit here now? How does your breath feel? Are there any emotions present? And so sometimes we confuse emotions, feelings with thoughts. So we might be thinking angry thoughts. But when I talk about emotions, I want you to feel them in your body. Usually the emotional landscape is sort of from the neck down through the trunk, down to our belly. And so even if you're feeling quote unquote bad, maybe you're sad, depressed, anxious, perhaps you can make the further observation that that which knows that you're sad, anxious, or depressed is not any of those things. That part of you that knows how you're feeling right now is not tainted by or affected by how you're feeling. And you might find yourself slipping into thoughts again and again. So don't add more thoughts to that by being angry at yourself or feeling like you suck at this or that you should try harder. Just as you're noticing that you're busy thinking, you're actually doing something, see if you can stop doing that and just kind of settling into this peacefulness, this quiet, and this spaciousness, this awareness that knows all that's happening right now. And let's just sit for a few minutes together in silence, dropping the thoughts, disengaging from the thoughts when you find that you've been caught up. Eventually this gets easier and easier. Instead of doing, see if you can stop doing, stop thinking the thoughts, stop planning, stop trying to figure it out. Stop worrying whether you're doing it right or not. So if you're worrying, if you're wondering if you're doing it right in some way, no, you're not. But just drop that thought and then you're doing it right. Feel the contact that your body is making with the ground. Feel the contact that your hands are making with your knees or thighs, wherever they are. Feel the breath expanding and contracting within you. See if you can get in touch, even if for just a split second, with that stillness, that spaciousness that's beyond the thoughts, in which the thoughts appear in. Great. And then maybe move your fingers and toes a little bit. Maybe take a shoulder roll. And then blink your eyes open. Congratulations, you made it.